Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch Art Cie, the art and science of watch collection. Today what I want to talk about are watches that I think are good buys. Now, they're not all at the bottom of the financial stack. Some are, or some are very near, but I think they're good buys, and so I'm going to talk about them. First, I want to mention quickly that this, when was it, yesterday, I think, or day before yesterday, we found out, or we at least heard the rumors, that FP Journe is selling 20% to Chanel. Chanel SA in Paris is going to buy a hunk of FP Journe. Now, a lot of people were very upset about this, and since I own two FP Journes, I guess I could be upset as anybody else, but I'm really not, for two reasons. One, I'm not that concerned about anything but service with FP Journe, and there's no indication that anything with their service is going to change. Certainly not the price, which I hope will go down, but I don't think that's going to happen. The other thing, people say, well, this may affect the value of it because Chanel is identified with a sort of a fashion watch or fashion period. Well, that's not going to affect FP Journe. I mean, it's like if people don't know FP Journe now, when they find out about it, if anything, they'll associate it with Chanel, which has a good reputation as a luxury company. So anyway, I'm not too concerned about it. Also, too, I think this will open up FP Journe watches to a lot of outlets where women want to buy high fashion along with high horology. Okay, so anyway, so let's get started. I want to start off with this Zenith Pilot Moser Cie Type 20. They have the new name they have for it is called Extra Special. I think that's because so I can pronounce it. But the Zenith Pilot, I'll just call it a Type 20, has a movement is an Elite 681. Now the Elite 681 is one that's not mentioned too much. Everyone says, oh, the El Primero is really great, and it is. It's a very good movement, but so is the Elite 681. It's just sort of lower down their price list. And this one's $3,700. Now, all of the watches I'm going to talk about are brand new. And this is new either directly from the company, from an AD, or some other market, we'll say a secondary market. Okay, the new Type 20 called Extra Special 40 millimeter also has an Elite. It's Elite 679, and it's almost $6,000. And so you're talking about a lot more money for a very similar watch. The Moser Cie Type 20 has small seconds at 9 o'clock, and the newer one and much more expensive one has center seconds. By the way, too, these prices, some places, what I found out is that some places will have really good prices on certain watches for a while, and then they all dry up. They're all gone. I found that to be true with this one place where I got my. Oh, by the way, too, I have on my my watch with a new band. I got I put the NATO band away, and so now I have this gray leather with lizard markings on it. This is what I call a beater band, and but it's a nice band. You know, it's not cheap, but it's not like $400, which you pay for a Parmigiani band. Anyhow, so this is a Parmigiani Tonda Hemispheres. Okay, that's done. And I got that watch for a song at a place called Shop Worn. I told everybody about it, and lo and behold, they all disappeared. They weren't left. I think there are 4 left, and they had about, I don't know, 10, 15, or 20. Something. They had a lot of them, and the only ones that are left are the ones made of precious metal, and they're higher because of that. So the one I ran into the best deals, and this is what I did. I tried to find the best deal, was at this place in Switzerland called Time of Switzerland, and I had business with them before and was very happy with them. Okay, let's go on. So that's the first one, is $3,700 for a Zenith Pilot. Now this next one is the Breguet Type 20, and again, this is from Time of Switzerland. I found it, and it's the it's $69.55. Well, basically $7,000. Normally they cost more along the lines of $10,000. So here's sort of a neat watch, really a neat watch. Now this has got what's called a Breguet BR 582 in it, which is based on a Maya 1350. Now if you're saying, that's an ETA brand, well, yes and no. Lemonade was around before ETA, and in fact they were the ones who made the movement for the first Omega Moon watch. So it's a good movement. It's 39 millimeters, and this I thought was another good deal. Now this is a good deal more expensive than the Zenith, but you get a lot of watch. You get a Breguet, which is a good example of a high horology watch, and so this is another one. I thought, well, this is a good buy. All right, the next one is a Parmigiani Fleurier Tonda Metrograph. Now the Metrograph is one that I like a lot, and again, a lot of Parmigiani people just don't like them for whatever reason, or they just love them and they're crazy about them. I'm one of the latter group. Now this again, it was also from Time of Switzerland. Now here's a watch that has a retail list price of $11,900, and that's a good discount. $67.45, under $7,000 for almost a $12,000 watch. You're getting into almost a 50% discount, and it has a PF 315 movement in it. And anyway, I like this watch, and if I didn't have mine, which is a hemispheres, this one would be very interesting to me. Okay, moving right along. Now, this one may surprise some of you who know my taste in watches, and my favorite Rolex keeps changing. All right, it's one thing or another at different times. At one time it was the Milgauss, and I just love that. Then it was the Explorer 1 or Explorer 2 with a GMT. Right now, though, I saw this Rolex Perpetual 39, Oyster Perpetual 39, and it's $5,700. And one of the reasons I like it, I like the caliber 3132. I read about it, and it's got all of the good things that Rolex put into both the hairsprings and the general movement of the watch itself. It's a good movement. I wouldn't say it's the most innovative movement in the world, but here you got a good solid watch. I like the blue one. They're different colors. I think they have white and black as well. And $5,700. Now this is the AD price. This is the advertised price. It's hard to find Rolexes for anything different. Now, if you're a Rolex fan, or you're thinking if you always wanted to have a Rolex, and you're within hand grenade distance of that price, this might be a really nice watch to have. It's the kind of thing, I see it as a young man's watch, and also too, the other thing about this price that I think makes it worthwhile, it's got a steel bracelet. So that's a nice thing. So this would be another one I'd recommend if someone says, hey, what are some good watches? I want to get a good watch. I like this one. And if you're a Rolex fan and you know all about Rolex, don't tell me I picked the wrong watch. I may have, but from everything I've looked at, I like this one for a good buy on a watch. Not necessarily the best watch in the world. Certainly not the best Rolex, according to, if you can find two Rolex owners who have different watches who will agree on that. Okay, next up is one that I really, really like, and it's one of those brands, Jaquet Droz. It's got a fabulous history, but the history of it and where it is now are in two different places. Like a lot of namesake, I don't think, Abraham Breguet wouldn't recognize anybody running or working at Breguet. And the thing is, this is called the Jaquet Droz Grande Seconde Quantami. Now, this particular one I found at Joma Shop, and it's $59.95, roughly $6,000. Normally, when I say normally, I mean the list price is $9,100. It's got the caliber is called a 26600Q2.P. What it is the Frederic Piguet 1163. Frederic Piguet, as you know, was taken over by Blancpain. And so I guess once Swatch came to own Jaquet Droz, they said, okay, we're gonna give you some of our best movements. This is 43 millimeters. I like this watch a lot. I just do. On the inner side of the bottom subdial, sort of a giant subdial there, on the inside line is the date. So it's a cool watch too. And again, this is, I think it's a very good price. Okay, moving right along. Now this is a brand. There were a whole bunch of these at a place in Malaysia, a place called Collector's Time, I think was the name of it. They had all kinds of these, and I don't like to talk about them, and now they don't have any more left. They all sold. This is a very, very nice watch. The price on it, $9,535, is a very, very good price. It's called the H. Moser Cie Venture Small Seconds. It had been, the list price was $19,000, which is a huge, huge $10,000 off. That's a good buy on any watch. And it has the H. Moser movement in it, and it's 39 millimeters. So this is there aren't very many of these left. People wised up to them and they're gone. Most of them are. This one I found, again, at Time of Switzerland. I don't know why. They have, if you go there, they seem to have these special deals on certain watches, and this was one that they did. So this, I think, is, and again, now we're not talking about chicken feed for any of these watches. I mean, even a Zenith for, in the mid 3,000s is a lot of money. So, but it's a lot better than $20,000. All right, let's go on. This next one is a Blancpain Villeray Ultra Slim. When I've been talking about entry-level Blancpain, and I mentioned this, and I think I'd found one for $4,000, but it was like it was an older one, a smaller one, and so forth. And so I was looking around, and so I thought, well, I was at the Time of Switzerland, I'll take a look, and I found this one. It's normally $9,485. There they had it on sale for $6,940, basically $7,000. You get about a $2,500 break on it. 40 millimeters, got the Blancpain 1151, which is probably some version of a Frederic Piguet movement. This is a great, formal, good-looking executive suite kind of watch. Okay, now this last one I have is one I talked about probably before. In 2016, when the Vacheron Constantin overseas came out, the new one came out, version, I guess, third generation, they had their own movement, which was the caliber 5100, okay? And so I went to look at it, and the I was asking a lot of questions about different things about getting it. Now, this is at the boutique in the Vacheron Constantin boutique on Madison Avenue in New York. And so I was talking about it, and they said, well, we also have this other one that we have too. And it comes with both a gaiter band and a rubber band, both of them. So you get two, one for sort of a beater band, and then the other one for, a nicer occasion. Now, it's called the Quadrille, and which is the name of it's an island in Geneva where the Vacheron Constantin had at least one of their businesses have been there. Now, originally this was still is. I mean, they're still producing 16,400. I found this at Joma's shop for 12,000. That's a lot of money, I realize. Now, here's why I think it's important. The movement in there is a 5100, and I know that this movement was a major development. There were a lot of resources poured into it, and it's gotten very good reviews and responses from the users. And this is in basically a $20,000 overseas. All right, so here you have one that is a lot less. Has the same movement. The only difference is this one has a tungsten, I think, rotor instead of gold. Now, the reason right now that's important, they came out with a new entry-level watch called the 56. And the bottom level 56 has, I forgot the number, 13 something, I think, on the new movement from Vacheron Constantin that is based on a Cartier movement, which was then, now it comes out of Val Fleurier, but Vacheron Constantin said, look, you guys, yeah, it did, but we put it together, we did the finishing, we did all of the Vacheron Constantin magic that we do to watches. Okay, they did, and I have no doubt about that. But this is a better movement. Plus, it has the Geneva seal. The other one doesn't, which ought to tell you a lot in certain respects. A lot of people say, the Geneva seal doesn't count. Look at Patek Philippe did. They put their own seal on it, which still tickles me. Okay, now this one's 41 millimeters. This is a good, nice size watch. Just happened to be a size I like for a sport type watch. Okay, and like I said, this is at Joma shop, $12,000, and it's about a $4,400 break on that one. So again, most of these watches are, to me, they're like hidden in plain sight. There are probably some really quirky ones, but I don't think any of these were quirky. They're simply not the run-of-the-mill kind of watches that people pay a lot of money for, all right, unless they happen to get a really good buy. All right, so listen, I'd really like to hear your opinions on this. Also, too, if you'd like to also further comments on the Chanel FP Journe deal, I'd like to hear it. I think in the coming weeks we're going to be reading about it with a little more depth than what we have so far. A speculation by people like me who don't know, have no idea what's going on. So if you want to have a comment about that until we learn more about it, that's fine. But I'd also like to get your opinion, what you think on these watches, and any other ones you say, hey, you should have put this one in. All right, so until next Friday, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Cie, the art and science of watch collections. And as always, this is an invitation to subscribe.